Welcome to the Hop Edition podcast, brought to you in association with the Malt Miller, your go-to choice for premium homebrewing ingredients and equipment. Whether you're a beginner starting out or an experienced brewer, the Malt Miller has got you covered. So for top quality products and customer service, jump over to themaltmiller.co.uk and tell them the Hop Edition sent you. We would also like to thank all our Patreons for their continued support with running and developing the pod. If you would like to become a member and gain access to exclusive perks and benefits, head over to patreon.com/the Hop Edition. Now it's time to get this pod started, so crack open a homebrew and enjoy the episode.
Oh, I'm still enjoying that sexy intro, Rich. So good. Have we gone live? We are live.
We are live.
We are live. And I'm going to do the intro.
Slick.
Thanks.
I mean, this is TV 101, this, isn't it? I mean, come on, dude.
I'm just waiting for a moment of silence between you. Tricky's chuckling. Shh. Good evening, listeners, and welcome back to episode 79 with the Hop Edition. We are going to be bringing you this evening a curated drink along tonight. So we have picked out and selected 4 cracking beers which have been available to purchase, and we will be basically drinking some commercial beers and having a chat. And you will probably notice, for those that are following along live, we're missing one of our compadres. Our Scottish brethren is not with us tonight. I think he's at home in his pants eating pizza, or and maybe looking after his kids, whilst his wife's away. So you've got the 3 amigos tonight. How are we doing, guys?
Very
Tricky's
well, thank
busy.
you. I am doing some last minute
Mute yourself, Trick. Mute yourself. You're tapping like a demon. Mute yourself off.
That's a good idea, actually. I will mute myself. Anyway, I'll let these
Tricky
guys
the typist
hold the fort for the moment.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 79, like Owens just said. These breweries were all chosen by our listeners. We put a poll up a couple of weeks ago. And our amazing friends at Beer Merchants, who happened to give us a discount code for 15% off beers, happened to have all the beers. So we just linked you to those. And away everybody went, and they got beers, and it was a wonderful, wonderful world. And everybody who bought them got 15% off. Massive thanks to Beer Merchants for that. We do really appreciate it. And, you know, we hope that everybody's enjoying their 15% off. Huge thanks to our sponsor, the Malt Miller, because Malt Miller is amazing. And we're really, really still super excited to have Stiffo, Rob, Reiki and Joe on board, you know, supporting us and generally just being their awesome self sitting there in the background. Although they're not quite as in the background as you think. They're not on this one, don't worry, but they are not quite in the, they're not in the background. Thanks to all of our Patreons. We've got some new Patreons. Gilles Catieux, whose name I've probably just butchered, has joined us. Adam Phillips has joined us. Jeff Morgan's joined us. And Peter Stanaway has joined us as a Patreon as well. We love all of you guys. All of our sort of existing Patreons, we love all of you guys too. And speaking of Patreons, there is one guy who I want to give a bit of a shout out to. He's currently in the chat. I don't want to embarrass him too much, but I'm really intending on doing it. Ron Muir. There's only a few people actually know what he did, and I don't know whether or not Ron wants me to sort of spout up about what he did, but all I'm going to say is I just want to give you a huge shout out, Ron, for being an absolute selfless, super kind, amazing human being for what you did. And I also want to say good luck with the hot sauce, mate, because you are going to need it. You are going to need it, mate. Put the toilet roll in the freezer and buy some liquid nitrogen because you're going to need it. Yeah, so thanks to Ron, thanks to our Patreons, thanks to our amazing sponsor, the Malt Miller. And shall we get down to drinking some stuff? Shall we do our what are we drinking?
Let's do it.
Go on then, Owen. You can go first,
keep it
mate.
Timely. I've not gone homebrew. I have gone Burnt Mill Helles, which is quite a low ABV Helles. It's 4%, very light. It's a little more bitter than you might expect for a Helles, but it is super crisp boy. And yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. Sort of honey, crispy cracker, lots of sulphur.
It's a very nice beer.
It's a good beer, very drinkable.
Very
nice
tasty
at
beer.
4%, actually. You kind of get nice sort of session vibes. So you can drink a few of these.
I've found... Oh, sorry, rating.
Rating. Oh, I'm going to give it a 4.2 out of 5.
4.2 out of 5. That is awesome. That's a good beer. I have discovered, just to tag on to the end of that, and this isn't part of my 60 seconds, I've been drinking the Hebden Lager by Vocation, which again is a lower ABV lager. And I've discovered that it flies in the face of a lot of the things that I really like about German beers. But one of the things I do like about it is it's not too far off being German, but you can still tell that it's English. Does that make sense? I think that those beers, and there are loads of other examples of it, but you can definitely, you can taste the Englishness, but you can also see the nod, the very considerable nod towards the German heritage of the style. And I really like that. Hebden Lager by Vocation is well worth a shot. And that particular Helles I've had a few times. That is a very good Helles as well. I rank that quite highly.
I got quite a few cans of it, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it.
It is a very, very good beer.
What are you drinking, Chris?
Well, I am drinking a beer. It's a homebrew beer, and it is my Hop Tester Nova Lager beer, which everybody will know. I haven't actually sent out to you guys yet. Now, there's a reason for it, and it's because I don't like Nova Lager as a yeast. Controversial statement, but I do not like it. It has an off flavor, which I was trying to explain to Owen. And I know it's not the lines because the lines were cleaned. I know it's not the keg because the keg was cleaned. Definitely wasn't the fermenter. There's nothing to do with my process would have given me this particular flavor that I'm getting in here. But I'm just not a big fan of it. And I don't think it's the hop either, because it is a Hop Tester hop. But I'm not going to tell you because I'm going to brew another beer with it. But I don't much like this beer, to the point where I was telling Owen just before we came on air, I'm probably going to drain pour this one. Out of 5, I would give it a solid 2.
Ooh, ouch.
I don't think this is a beer for anybody to have the recipe for or reproduce.
Give it a bit of time.
It's had 3.5 months.
All right. Yeah, if it's not improved in that time, I think it's probably time for the drain. Life's too short for bad beer.
Life's too short to drink shit beer, mate. Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree with that one. Tricky, given the fact that you're still working, do you want us to move on and do the quiz questions before we come to you for what you're drinking?
It's all right. I'll do my beer very quickly. So I am on a West Coast Pale that I've brewed, and it's got what has it got in it? It's got Nelson and Strata, I think, in the dry hop, and then some more traditional West Coasty hops early on, Centennial and Chinook, possibly. I should probably have got the recipe up, but it's yeah. So I was trying to do that kind of thing of having all the boil hops, more traditional C hops, and then a little bit of funky New World stuff for the aroma, and it's come out quite nice. It's pretty crispy, nice and dry, really nice kind of aroma off of that Nelson and Strata combo. I'm pretty pleased with it. Yeah, so it's having got a big box of Burnt Mill beers that included some of their kind of West Coast pales and stuff. I thought this was a nice glass to put it in too. So
it is a nice glass. Could I see the other side of it? What's on the other side?
It's got it's the windmill.
Oh,
and then there's like, I don't know what that's supposed to be, like smoke or something. Yeah,
Banksy-esque.
But yeah, it is cool. And then the etching in the bottom of the glass is also a windmill shape, I think, which is a nice touch as well. So yeah, nice glassware. Very nice.
How do you guys feel about etching at the bottom of a glass?
It's a pain in the arse if it's a highly carbonated beer anyway. because you
Yeah.
just can't use it for certain stuff.
I like the sort of the fact that you get a sustained head on the beer, but I do find that if you drink your beer quite slowly, you end up with a flat beer by the time you get to sort of the second half.
Yeah, halfway through it's gone flat.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan.
I think it's important to limit the amount of nucleation points that you've got at the bottom of a glass, or to not limit, but to choose wisely the amount of nucleation points that you've got at the bottom of your glass, depending on what style of beer you're drinking. Glassware is an important choice. We should probably do an episode on glassware choices. It'd be about 15 minutes, but Tricky wouldn't kill us for the editing, which is always, a bonus.
Be an option for a short one, couldn't it?
Absolutely.
Glassware.
Yeah, I do like Burnt Mill's glassware, though. I do like most things Burnt Mill, including Imperial Measures, which you may or may not have noticed from the post I put up on the Facebook group. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's get down to the quiz questions for tonight, because one of the things that we're doing on this particular commercial listener's choice kind of episode is we're going to be doing 3 quiz questions for you to answer while you're listening to us ramble on about beers and us waiting for your feedback on what you got from the beers in the documents that Tricky is currently creating. Because, lastminute.com Tricky over there only started doing it about 25 minutes ago. Which is, to be fair, he's very good at it. So, we're going to go down that route. Owen, would you like to do the quiz questions, or would you like me to do them?
Oh, go on, I'll do them.
Go on then, mate.
Go on then. Right, this is a sort of new entry, as Chris just explained. So we might feed in a cheeky quiz question or two in the old episode. So we've got 3 questions for you tonight. So the first, get your pens and paper ready. What is the common name?
Owen, stop. Before you go on, we don't want any answers in the chat to give it away for everybody else, people.
Good point.
No answers in the chat. You feel free to PM us, but no answers in the chat.
If you're following along live, don't put them in the chat. We are going to give you the answers at the end of the podcast. So, first question. What is the common name for Y Yeast 1469? And for a bonus point, which famous brewery is the yeast allegedly from? Do you know your yeasts? Second question. What is the primary cleaning agent in Starsan? Or what is the primary ingredient in Starsan? And the third question is, which country pioneered brew in the bag? So there are your 3 questions for you. No cheating, no Googling. We will know.
We will know.
We're
very smart. We're super smart and all that lot.
We will come after you.
Yeah, we will. With really bad beers. We'll make you drink Stella. That's what we'll do.
Warm Stella.
Yeah, really warm Stella.
Oh, takes me back to my teens.
I'm telling you, that's a threat to be afraid of, that one, isn't it? Yeah, sit there and neck a can of Stella that's been left on the side in a warm kitchen for 3 hours.
Shotgun it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yum.
Tricky, how we coming with that form, mate?
I'm just copying the link now. So
look at the skills this man has.
Beautiful.
Tricky needs to explain this bit.
So, yeah, for those of you who are drinking along this evening, we had a little bit of a discussion with patrons about things that we could do to make these kind of episodes more interactive for you, and also to just get more input from the people listening live that we can utilize during the pod itself. And to that end, I've just put together a basically like a feedback sheet for the beers that we're going to be drinking tonight. So it's on a Google Forms document that I'm going to drop into the chat now. Hopefully, I haven't had a chance to test this, so fingers crossed it's going to work properly. But if you follow that link, for those of you that are drinking those beers, it's basically a simple scoring system, and I have duplicated the form sort of 4 times for each beer. So we've got scores out of 5 for the kind of flavour and aroma profile in terms of malt, esters, body, hop presence overall, and then some breakdown of the actual hop flavours that are in the beer in terms of scoring out of 5 for fruitiness, tropical citrus flavours, spicy herbal notes, floral or earthy or grassy, and then an overall rating out of 10. So it shouldn't take too long, just gives you something to quantify your thoughts on the beers, and will hopefully be able to be pulled together into a little chart at the end, so we can see visually what you guys have thought of those beers and how they've been scored and so on. So we'll all enter in our responses on that sheet as well, and yeah, hopefully that'll work. Let's see. You are muted, Chris.
I presume you have 4 different links for the 4 different beers.
No, it's all on one form.
Okay, because oh really? So you just keep going through the form?
Just keep going. So section 1 is the first beer, section 2 is the second beer, and so on and so forth. And it's basically
there is a next duplicate button, I think, to move to the next beer. So yes. With that said, we have 4 beers lined up for this evening. The first is a session pale ale from Flock. Flock are a superb brewery based in Kent, whom I'm sure many of you have heard of. So we'll dive into that beer. It's called Warm Shade. Then we got second up a beer from Belfast, from a brewery in Belfast called Bull House. And are we all drinking the Rolling Papers?
I think Chris was the only one that got the original
Suds.
Beer we chose, Suds, and then everyone else probably has got Rolling Papers.
I got the last one.
We might have to kind of roll with that one, excusing the pun. So I think that's kind of a New England Pale Ale, New England IPA. Then we're going to move on to the third beer, which is the Andex Hefe. So this is a little shout out to Johnny from Brewcake Tap. I believe this was one of his favourite beers. So we thought you'd indulge Johnny and put that on the list. And then we're going to close out with the fourth and final beer, which is a absolute banger from Omnipollo, our favourite Swedish brewery. And this is the Noah Mudcake Imperial Stout, but the barrel-aged version.
Bourbon barrel-aged version.
Bourbon barrel-aged version. So I'm very much looking forward to that one. That is, don't expect any sense out of me after that.
Don't expect any sense out of any of us after that.
No, that's going to be fun. So let's dive into the first beer then. So it is a 4% pale ale from Flock, called Warm Shade. Should I mention the hops?
Yeah,
I think I should. I'll mention the hops. So this is a 3-hop pale ale. So you're looking at Idaho 7, Simcoe, and Citra. I've already poured this one out, and it is got an absolutely incredible fluffy white head on it, like a meringue. And we're looking at a kind of quite light yellow colour. It's a really attractive looking beer. And I can't wait to dive in. So I'm gonna try and get rid of this foam off the top and have a little sniff.
See, while Owen's doing that, because we know about Owen and his beer reviews, so I'm just going to talk a little bit and say I've actually had this beer quite a few times before. Flock is one of my regular go-to sort of brewery order places, and I have never, ever, ever drunk this beer and not gone, do you know what? I'd actually quite like to make that. It's one of the few reasons why I would drink Simcoe beers is this particular beer. It's a really nice one. Everything for me just gels. It's a nice beer. Owen's still snorting.
Incredible. Like, yeah, I'm literally trying to snort it. I mean, the first thing I get off it is like a lychee.
Yeah.
Like a lychee vibe.
Good
I'm getting
shout.
big pineapple aromas.
Jill says, putting the pale in pale ale. I mean, that is pale. It is a super pale.
It is a very, very pale beer. It's very hazy. I forgot to add that. It's a super hazy beer. Not like yeast starter hazy, but you ain't seeing through it. I'm getting like a pina colada vibe, pretty much. That's my take on it.
It's quite well carbonated as well, isn't it?
It's a lovely, lovely beer.
Nice, tingly mouthfeel with the carbonation. Very bright, fruity notes on there.
Yeah, I'm sort of getting like hints of tangerine as well. And apricot.
I think you nailed it with the lychee descriptor, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's bang on.
It's just got that kind of slight sharpness to the kind of tropical fruit vibe that just kind of gives you lychee.
It's like that moderate acidity, isn't it? It's ever so slightly acid.
If you can kind of smell acid. Can you smell kind of lactic? I think you can smell a kind of lactic acid, can't you? Because whenever you've a sour, you can go, and it kind of comes across as citrusy. Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful smelling beer. Very impressed. I love Flock.
Yeah, this is good.
Chris and I were lucky enough to collar Ross from Flock for a good 20 minutes when we were at LCBF.
Yeah, we had a real good conversation with the lad.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and I saw both Ross and Eddie at These Hills in Lewis, which is a fantastic beer festival. If you ever get the chance, chat to those guys. Hopefully, we'll get them on the podcast at some point. So let's dive in, see what we're getting.
So remember, if you are drinking this at home, follow the link that we posted so you can put some scores in for this.
I've just clicked send on mine, Tricky.
I mean, I'm getting very low bitterness. There's a little bit of bitterness there, but bitterness isn't really a featuring part of it's just enough in there to kind of balance it, but it not be prominent. You can tell it is a 4% beer. It's just a
very
little bit. It's lighter. It's a little bit crisper.
High carbonation, it really, keeps it very, very light in the kind of mouthfeel.
I'm getting like
it's got good, decent body to it. It's not super.
I think the carbonation
thin
helps with that.
Yeah, lacking in body, so there's a decent.
It's
sweetness.
more that the it's almost it is slightly drier, so it kind of just dries out quite quickly in your mouth, doesn't it? In terms of the flavour, kind of dissipates quite quickly.
Just to latch onto the end of that comment, that's exactly what I was about to say. It's almost like a non-phenolic saison.
Yeah.
Really high carbonation, quite light on the body. It just obviously not with the fruity flavors and everything. I don't know. You get dry hop saisons these days, but it's very kind of saison-esque in its mouthfeel, and that I'm getting a tickle at the back of my nose from the carbonation, which is not unpleasant. I mean, I'm not a big fan of shoving things up my nose, but that kind of tickle that you get at the back of your throat, kind of the base of your nasal cavity, that's really kind of pleasant with a beer like this. And a lot of tropical fruit. I'm getting that lychee. I'm getting a very small amount of pineapple, but I'm getting quite a lot of like that, mango, peach, passion fruit kind of mixed kind of tropical fruit thing. I really like this beer. It is one of my faves, I have to say. It is a very good beer.
So I've just realised something with the form. I should have split it up into separate forms, because you're going to have to skip to the end and hit submit before you filled in the other ones. Otherwise, we're not going to get the results until we get to the very end. So, but that's fine. You can just go back and do another version of it each time for the different beers. So
I just have to run through, click next.
Put your scores in. Oh, excuse me. Put your scores in for the first one. Just click next and ignore the next free forms until it says submit, and then hit submit, and then it should ping me the results for that first beer, and we'll just revisit the form for the other beers.
When you click submit, it comes up with submit another something or other at the top. If you click on that and then skip the first page, you should be able to enter for the second beer for Full House.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, so I've got a couple of responses coming in there, which is good.
Rolling in.
This is one hell of a beer. This is such a good beer. Prickly is a very good word to describe it. That's a really good word to describe it, that is, Brett. Prickly. That's such a good beer.
Yeah, it doesn't coat the mouth. It's it's kind of there and then it's gone. Very, very drinkable.
We have our first response on the quiz questions. Now, I'm not going to say anything about it, but what I'm going to say is Simon Seaton got 1 out of 3, and that guy is a pro brewer.
Wow.
1 out of 3, Simon. You're very good at coming around and stealing my Pilsner, but dude, 1 out of 3. You should be absolutely ashamed of yourself.
Name and shamed as well.
Absolutely. I mean, Simon was around my gaff. When was it? Yesterday? Was it? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Simon came around. I mean, he's a top dude. I love him to bits. But 1 out of 3, mate. Come on. Brett Harmon got 3 but missed the bonus point. I think he's just posted that as a comment on the bloody video. Oh no, he hasn't. He sent me that on a PM. Well done, Brett. I've busted your balls for nothing. Yeah, you got the 3 right, but you missed the bonus point. Sorry, mate.
You get like a little bit of spice, on there.
Not a lot, but a little bit.
Yeah, I think there. Yeah, Brett's mentioned in the chat that he's getting a bit of spice off of it. I think
it's not the forefront flavour, but I think actually I've gotten about halfway through, and as you kind of drink it more, the bitterness builds a little bit.
Yeah, it's on the aftertaste, isn't it? Really, I think
that's where that spice is beginning to come through. It was a delectable beer.
It's interesting the actual flavour that's coming out of that with Idaho, Simcoe, and Citra, because it's not that kind of lychee thing. Is not something that I would have immediately thought you'd get with that kind of hop combo.
No, you would think you'd be getting orange with the Idaho.
Yeah,
maybe some pineapple.
And I would have expected the Simcoe to push it a little bit more into the piney, sort of resiny territory a little bit. But obviously, don't know how exactly they've used those hops and in what quantities. But it's an interesting flavour profile from those in combination for sure.
I think maybe the Simcoe might be the scaffold.
Yeah,
Citra normally pretty big, and then Idaho 7. I'd imagine probably following the Citra. That would be my guess. So the Simcoe doesn't dominate too much, so you don't get a big piney vibe.
I'm getting the Idaho 7. Just clear as day. It's beautiful. What an absolute cracker of a beer, though. If you haven't bought yourself any Flock beers yet, and I understand, things are tight and all that, but just go and get yourself some Flock beers, because I don't think I've had one that I would consider to be bad. There's been a couple that I've thought were mediocre, but as a general rule, they produce absolute bangers top to tail. Some great, great beers.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a bad Flock beer.
I think the flavour profile is quite different, but as far as the general balance of this beer, this really reminds me quite a lot of Sonoma. At that kind of end of the ABV spectrum, but still really quite punchy as far as the flavour and stuff goes. And as you were saying, definitely makes me want to brew something similar, because I would love to have a keg of a beer like this on tap. That'd be awesome.
Reminds me a little bit of my sort of low ABV beer that I made.
Yeah, it reminds me of your house pale a little bit as well.
Yeah, somewhere between those two.
It's a lovely beer. Brett's just sent me some information on Messenger that he's Googled, and I'm going to give him half a bonus point, is all I'm saying. So Brett's currently in the lead with 3.5 points.
Well, you're claiming that he's Googled it, has he?
No, but he wrote it before he Googled it.
Brett, I know where you live.
Sounds a bit sketchy.
I'm coming to find you.
I know where he lives as well, to be fair. As your punishment, Brett, go and drink a can of Stella that you've had in the microwave for 15 seconds.
Yums. I love to microwave a pint of Stella. My faves.
Don't microwave it in the can, though. That would be dangerous.
That would be.
Put it in a glass first. Yeah.
Especially unopened.
Yeah. He apparently asked Jeeves. Yeah, that is an absolute banger of a beer. And I've got to admit, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, do I just smash it off and get on to the next one? Or do I give it a little bit of time?
The danger is, I often find that, I used to find when I made YouTube videos, which was a long time ago, and Tricky, you probably attest to a bit of this, is when you're doing like the beer review thing, and someone sends you like 3 beers, and you sit down to review them, and you sort of tasting them and concentrating on kind of figuring out what they're about and talking about them, as you just keep drinking and you drink and you drink. And then you found that you've drunk like 3 beers in 45 minutes.
Absolutely.
And then you end up like, oh God, this is a bit more than I was hoping for a Tuesday evening.
Can I just say, Tricky's got a video on that.
Yeah.
He did a comparison between some beers and some commercials, and he basically did about 4 pints in 25 minutes.
That was the problem. It wasn't the the quantity, it was the speed.
It's the speed of which
consumption. But yeah,
that's the thing, right? Yeah,
definitely been there before, Owen, for sure.
You end up just necking like 4 pints in the space of next to no time.
Yeah, which is daft because you don't need to. You can edit it, and it doesn't take as long as you like. But for some reason, when you're in that mindset, you're like, right, I've got to keep going and make it.
What is that sustained kind of effort to sort of taste it, and you want to keep tasting it to try and figure it all out? I've got a feeling
there's something I can't quite put my finger on here, so I'm just going to have to chug it until I work out what it is.
Exactly. Keep tasting it. Sip, 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 sip.
Yeah. Is there anybody else?
Case in point, that one's gone.
This evening's going to follow suit.
Is there anyone else in the chat, aside from Brett, who's got these beers who is drinking along with us? Because I know Brett will, because Brett's awesome.
There must be at least one other person, because there's definitely a couple of people who've submitted scores for this one so far.
Can you see the names? Do you get the names? Or do you just get the email addresses?
Hang on. I don't think I've got it set up to record email addresses, so it's probably, I think it's anonymous at the moment.
Our wonderful
Gilles
dog owner.
In.
The dog owner's in on it. Have you given that dog a sausage today, Gilles? Not in a weird way, you fuckers. Has that dog had some food today? It better have. You better not be mistreating that dog, mate. Love that pooch. I spent so long with that dog, just kind of walking him around at BrewCon. I absolutely adore that dog. He's absolutely amazing. Little Zanzi, brilliant. Yeah, cost me £6 for 2 sausages.
Right, shall I put up the?
Yeah, let's go. Let's have a look at what people say.
Have a look at this. Have a look at this graph.
I mean, he's a Labrador, Gilles, so it's bound to say he never has food.
Right, let's see if we can find the right bit.
Do you know something? As this beer warms up, I'm getting much more tropical and much less lychee.
More like pineapple. You getting a lot of pineapple?
I'm getting a fair whack of pineapple. Not a lot, but a fair whack.
So there we have our scores in for the Flock Warm Shade. From the responses that we've seen, it seemed like it was pretty consistent. as far as people putting in pretty similar results. So should have probably had a 0 option. So basically, if it's a 1, then that's as low as you could possibly give it. So not really much in the way of esters or malt.
Mute yourself, Owen.
Good body though, for such a light beer. Hop presence unsurprisingly pretty high, and big scores for the citrus tropical. Flavor profile, a little bit of spice in there, which picked up by some people. Again, floral probably the next highest, and earthy, grassy, pretty minimal. Overall score out of 10 on average 7.6, so a pretty solid scoring beer there for the first one out of the box. There we go.
Nice. I think a well-deserved 7.6. What did you guys rate it as?
I put it in as an 8 myself.
I think I put it in as an 8 or a 9.
I went for an 8 as well.
It's a great beer. It's a fantastic beer. You know, I do genuinely really like that point. It's one of the few that's, whenever I go onto Flock to do an order, it is pretty much the first one into my basket. If it's on, I love it. It's a great beer. Chicky,
Yes.
give me a second. Let's go with the next one, mate.
Okay, so the next beer up, for those of you drinking along at home, get the rolling papers out. This is a hazy IPA coming in at, what is the strength on this one? 5 something? 5.2% ABV. Let's get it into the glass and see what we're looking at. So this is from Bullhouse Brewing Company, who I think we've already mentioned are Belfast based, so Northern Irish brewery, who I hadn't really heard anything about personally until somebody mentioned them as a possible option when we were asking people in the Patreon chat for and on Facebook for suggestions for breweries to try out for this episode. So it's a new brewery to me. I think they are relatively relatively young brewery. I don't think they've been around for too long. I don't seem to be able to find much information. There's not anything on the can or on their website that I can see at the moment which tells us much as far as what's actually in this beer. It just says multiple dry hop additions and fruity esters from the house yeast combine to give you something hazy and immensely crushable. Other than that, not really got any other info on it at all. So, yeah, Bullhouse Brew Company, based in Belfast. I think they've first set up around 2016, but haven't really got going into full production until the last few years. And their beers seem to focus on, hazy pales, session IPAs, American pale ales. Looks like they've got some sour beers on the go as well. Actually, there's quite a decent range of stuff on their website. Whiskey barrel aged stout on there and some pilsner. So yeah, can't really tell you much more about them, to be honest. There's not that much info there, but let's see what's going on with this beer. In the glass, we have got nice yellow hazy appearance. The head on this one is quite sort of light frothy bubbles, so it's dissipated a little bit since I first poured it in. On the aroma, it's quite a sort of dank, I'm thinking mosaic as my initial impression off of that.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Definitely, it's got that sweaty gym bag mosaic vibe to me is the first thing that I kind of pull out of that on the aroma.
I'm getting that underripe mango.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd be surprised if that hasn't got some mosaic in it. To be honest, that's the thing that's really leaping out of the glass at me there. Maybe could be the classic mosaic citra combo in this. I don't know. But yeah, that's that sort of tropical, mango-y, slightly dank, sweaty kind of aromatic coming off of it.
I mean, I was getting like almost borderline garlic.
Okay, yeah, and
Like
that could be the mosaic
can.
thing as well.
Yeah, if you kind of smell it in the can, I was like, oh, it smells a bit garlicky. But once it's in the glass,
Can I just say, we're clearly having an effect on some people. Andy Lynch has just put a flock order in. You should have got more than 2 cans of that Warm Shade, Andy. It's a great beer.
And I mean, I'm impressed by this beer. Like for a brewery I've not come across before. My father-in-law lives in Belfast. He's familiar with Bullhouse Brewery. Gets down there quite often and enjoys the hazy beers. Incredibly impressed with the beer overall, the presentation, the aroma. I haven't even tasted it yet, but it's super tropical.
Yeah,
I'm almost getting like kind of a gummy bear sort of aroma. Like if you just give it like a really little gentle sniff.
do the drive-by sniff.
Yeah, the drive-by. It's yeah, it smells beautiful.
Yeah, I've got to say,
Weirdly, I'm not. Gilles was saying it's very oniony.
yeah, I think this is
It
one of
is
those beers where for some people
bordering.
it could probably tip over into that allium kind of aroma quite a
Yeah.
lot, but for the flavour as well, it's definitely, yeah, it's going down that kind of mosaic flavour profile for me as well.
I'm not getting that sort of blueberry mosaic thing. I'm just getting more of that dank mosaic.
It's
like,
much more the dank mango-y kind of thing.
mango-y. Yeah.
Mixed kind of tropical fruits, maybe a bit of passion fruit, mango.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean the flavour is
Pineapple and onion salsa. Interesting.
yeah. I mean that the flavour is quite different actually to the aroma. Not enormously different, but it's more complex actually.
That's a good shout. Actually, there is definitely a citrus element in there as well. So I think that's a good call from Brett there with the pineapple and grapefruit.
I'm getting the sort of...
I'm not even drinking this beer, but can I just take a punt and say probably a Zaka and Citra?
Yeah, I think
Pineapple, grapefruit, and lemon.
I'm going with tricky. There's definitely mosaic in this beer, but maybe it's Citra, Zaka, mosaic.
Could be.
There's something super dank in it. Like
That's a hell of a combo.
Maybe some Columbus, but then I'm not really getting a kind of piney Columbus vibe.
Yeah, again, it's not really got that kind of like aggressive, resiny, sea hop kind of feel to it. I don't think. I mean, could be wrong.
It's got a little bit. Would you say it's maybe a tiny bit, little bit of hot burn? Just getting that at the back of my throat.
I haven't picked up on that so far, to be honest, but. What's the beer that you... I know Chris is obviously drinking a different beer, but how are you enjoying the other beer that you've got from...
I have to say, this is a fucking spanker, mate, this. I'm kind of pissed off that everybody else isn't drinking this one. I'm getting mango. I'm getting a very large amount of like lime and lemon.
Yeah.
I'm getting quite a large chunk of like a tropical, and I want to say blueberry because everybody's been saying blueberry, but I don't think it is. I think it's more like blackberry kind of hedgerow kind of thing. The malt profile is absolute perfection. It's pretty sweet, like not super sweet, but pretty sweet. And it's leveled off really nice with everything that's in it. It's an incredibly well balanced beer. I'm exactly in the same shoes as Owen. I had literally never heard of this brewery until somebody said Bullhouse Brewery. I will be putting an order in for some beers once I've drunk the 84 bottles of like fest beer that I've got. I think this is Suds, by the way. More hops, less bombs.
Andy, we've got rolling papers, and it's Chris that's on suds.
I've got
Just to
suds.
answer the
They're all,
question
yeah.
in the chat. Yeah,
This is an absolute banger. It's a banger of a beer.
yeah. I mean, I'm really enjoying this one. To be fair, I think it's. I mean, the name of the beer kind of makes sense now with the amount of like dank, sweaty, kind of weedy flavor going on in this beer. And again, that's making me think like Mosaic has got to be the main hop in this.
They also do a hazy IPA called Frank the Tank, which is an all Mosaic hazy IPA.
Oh, that's got to be worth a punt.
Oh, that's definitely getting put in the basket. They do an extra pale ale.
The more this beer is warming up, the more this beer that I'm drinking warms up, the more of that kind of berry flavor I'm getting. I've got to admit, I really like this. This is going to go onto my if it's there, buy it list.
I think this one's priced. Actually developing a little bit more berry flavor as it goes on. Again, as we were saying before, as you drink more of it, I think that you start to pick up on some of the other flavors coming in.
I'm not going to fill in the form either, by the way, Tricky.
Maybe that blueberry. Yeah, that's fair enough. It wouldn't necessarily make sense if you did. But yeah, for those that are filling in the form, so if you just go back to the link or click on the submit another response button, you just need to skip to the next page, which will be titled Bull House Rolling Papers, and put in your scores on there. Yeah.
Andy's got some info. Apparently my beer is a double dry hop pale with Eldorado, Talus, and Azaka.
Oh. That's an interesting combination.
It's well worth buying, boys. It is well worth buying. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you something. That's a cracker. I could drink a lot of them.
I'm gonna give that a good score. I am pleased with, thanks to the patrons, I'm pleased with that recommendation.
Do we know who it was who
that
recommended
it?
I can't remember. Was it J-Mac?
I don't think it was J-Mac. I'm scrolling.
I thought it was. Rolling Papers is Mosaic. We've got Andy's in the chat. He's doing like secret research.
Where did you get that info from, Andy? I'm intrigued because I was on their own website and I couldn't find that. Is he on Untapped or something like that?
Yeah, it's an absolute cracker. Really enjoying this.
Right, so yeah, submit your scores for that one. We'll see how that comes out.
I do love a dank beer.
I can't find the post that we put up. If anyone can find the post that we put up on the Hop Edition Facebook page, somebody sort of let us know for definite who it was who recommended this particular beer, or this particular brewery, because it's a cracker and it's one that needs a light shining on it. It's really nice.
I would agree.
Dexter and Jones. Who's Dexter and Jones? I don't know who they are, but yeah, Dexter and Jones, Bull House Brew Co.
Oh, it's the beer merchant, aren't they? Dexter and Jones. Oh, hops Mosaic. All right. There must be something else in there as well, though.
No, you would think so.
They've got an all Mosaic beer, very similar, but this is double dry hop pale. So I'm guessing it might. I think Citra Mosaic's probably a pretty good shout. To be fair, Tricky. I know it's often you're wrong when it comes to hop combos.
The Talus in this is giving it an almost creamy texture now it's warmed up a bit. It's like a creamy pineapple fruit bomb. I think it's safe to say from the two beers that we've had, gentlemen, that Bull House Brewing is definitely worth a visit for those of us who are looking for another brewery to try.
I would say so, yeah.
I mean, and actually looking at the prices, very reasonably priced.
Yeah,
Very reasonably
this beer was
priced.
like what, $3.75 or something on if you're ordering direct from them.
Yeah,
That's a yeah, that is a decent.
yeah.
I mean, I know
Their
it's not the
beers.
strongest hazy IPA, but
You can
yeah,
get a mystery mix pack of 11 beers for 35 quid. That's pretty
For
good.
35 quid.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Shut up.
And most of their beers range between £3.50, £3.40. In fact, their
the
extra pale ale is £3.10.
the only thing over £4 is the barrel aged stout. So
Which is
yeah,
10.7%.
fair play, fair play. It's like good
Yeah.
value as well, doesn't it?
As soon as I run out of beer,
their Pilsner, which is probably worth a bash, is £3 a can. Very good. And there's a nice range. You know, they do a lot of got table beer, they got Pilsner, they got lager, they got a whole range of different IPAs and pale ales. Sours in there. Not many stouts. There's only just the one barrel aged stout. But yeah, seems like a great brewery.
I'm gonna say it right now on the podcast, okay? I am gonna reach out to these guys and see if they want to join us. That beer for me has been a revelation, and I think that beer for you too has been a revelation as well. For those prices, we got to get them on.
For a
nice
brewery that I'd not even heard of, yeah, I'd say it is a
bangers.
a good opening shot, that one, to be fair.
Can I just say that my beer as well is only 4.5%, so it's quite a low ABV beer even then, but it's got body for days and flavour for days. It's an absolute banger. 35 quid for 11 fucking beers. What is going off in the world?
That is how you hook the Yorkshireman.
Absolutely.
Done.
I'm in.
He's
Reel
all
me
over
in, boys.
that.
Reel me in.
He even
That's
says,
a cracker.
why not add a t-shirt for 15 quid and get free shipping?
50 quid for 11 beers
why
and a
not?
free t-shirt. I bet they don't have them in Fat Bastard for me, though, do they?
Well, you never know.
Maybe.
I'll check for you, Chris. I'll check.
How many X's are in front of the biggest size?
They do an XXL. 2 X's.
I'd have to lose a bit of weight. No, that's superb. Eye opener for me. That it just goes to show that our community, our brewing community, there are some people within it who have they've discovered a gem, and they're being incredibly inefficient at passing on that gem to the rest of us. That's what it shows.
Well, we're getting it out there now, guys. Thank you.
We have to. We have to.
Recommended this, but so far our patrons have set us on the right course with
damn
2
straight.
very good recommendations, and I'm fairly confident on the second half.
You reckon?
More,
you think
even more
we've got some
confident than I was last
solid
weekend.
beers. So let me just pop up the chart for this one. The chart looks completely different for this. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like I said, I was throwing it together last minute, but the information is still there. So we've got nice colours though for the different bars and a slightly
nice,
different
tricky.
legend. So on the rolling papers, we got malt scoring a 2, esters pretty low. Again, decent body, sort of mid score for the body there. Hop presence right up there, 4.6, and same for citrus and tropical notes, which is understandable. Not much as far as spicy or herbal. A little bit of floral note in there, I think, and very little as far as the earthy or grassy. And the score came out on average at 8. So again, a real solid
8's a bloody good
8
score.
out of 10 there. So yeah,
Very good.
top work, Bullhouse Brewing Company.
And Brett says
I was
6
impressed
quid
with
for
that.
P&P.
Very nice.
6 quid postage.
I think Andy's feeling like he went a bit early on the flock order, maybe.
Priori
Chris is,
exponat, was he?
yeah, he has. Now he's looking down the gun of 2 orders. I'm wondering
That's
how
it.
he's going to.
The FOMO is strong right now, right?
Past the wife. Yeah, Borehouse Brewery. If you end up with lots of orders out the back of this podcast, please contact us.
I think we need to tag Bull House. In fact, we need to tag all four of the breweries, but we definitely need to tag Bull House when it comes to putting this one up and sticking this one in. This is. I'm drinking it slow. It's that good, and that's unlike me. This is a banger. Oh, mate, what a beer! What a beer! What a beer! I think we need to have a bit of a mid-session interval. I'm going to be honest. My taste buds are being overwhelmed. My taste buds are being overwhelmed. Andy says, calm down, 2 orders. Yeah, that's the Scotsman speaking right there. Tighter than a duck's ass, and that don't even let water in. Yeah. I got it. I know that you guys have been talking about rolling papers, which obviously I've not had. But the one thing I will say about this beer is the flavour is really in your face. It's really in your face. That I know it's double dry hopped and all that sort of stuff, but that hop flavor and hop aroma, it's big, it's huge. It's a really big flavored beer. I love it. I could do damage to a 24 pack of that. I really could.
Yeah, to be fair, if I would happily purchase multiple cans of both of those beers so far. I think I'd be very happy to have a decent stock of either.
Well, we do still have the discount code with beer merchants for people who are unaware.
I think they might be all. Oh no, hang on. Well, obviously they've not got suds anymore, but they might have the rolling papers still. They do. Yeah, it's still there.
Guys, if you have the ability to make an order before the 31st of this month, which I know doesn't give you a lot of time, right? But if you have the ability to put in an order before the 31st, or it might even be the 30th, I can't remember, it's one or the other, and you use the discount code, the Hop Edition at Beer Merchants, you will get 15% off your order. Which means you have to hit a certain point to get free delivery. So add a few more beers and then put your discount on. And then you might actually end up at just over the point where you get free delivery and discount and you get free beers, because it's essentially 15% of your beers are free. So, yeah, that's a superb beer. You guys are sounding like you're really enjoying that one. I reckon personally I'm going to reach out to Bull House and see whether or not they want to come on the podcast and just talk about their beers and their brewing, because, yeah, that's pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It'll be good to get
absolute bangers.
Get some guidance on recipes for those beers as well, because again, I would happily have a keg of that, or some kind of interpretation of it.
Yeah, Chicky's thinking the same way as I am. I know what the hops are. I'm fairly sure I know what the malt is. Can I make that? Yeah. That's what it comes down to. Just as kind of an interlude, while we have a few moments off the beer, has anybody been brewing anything recently? Because that's normally what we talk about on the commercial pods. Anybody done any brewing?
We're going to do the opposite. We're going to do a commercial podcast with a home brewing bit in the middle.
A homebrew break.
Spin it on its head, yeah. I've got the big Impy kit from Brew Day on the go at the minute. So I've got the coconut steeping in the Bounty Hunter Imperial Porter, which is the Emperor's Brewery kit beer that I've got on the go. I've got a starter firing up at the minute for a pouch of Hop Unlock, which is going to go into
it's a good yeast.
My plan is to do more of a kind of Westy style IPA, but use that and obviously the other techniques, including putting some Phantasm in, to basically see what it's going to kind of add on top of a normal, well, not normal, like a sort of West Coast kind of beer profile. Because I feel like you kind of get some idea of what's going on with the Firelights commercial beers, but they're all like hazy beers anyway. So it's like picking apart like what the actual file side of things is contributing to the beer is quite difficult, I think. Whereas I feel like, I mean, this may go horribly wrong, but I feel like if I do it with a West Coast beer and then it comes out smelling like super tropical and passion fruit like or whatever, maybe that's going to make it a little bit more obvious what it's
Oh,
contributing.
that's a great shout, Tricky. I
Yeah.
actually after we had the last podcast, the BrewCon one, I went and ordered some beers from Lake Brew Company.
Okay.
Because you guys were talking about the Phantasm beers that they were serving at the at BrewCon, and there was part 1 and part 2. The one was a double dry hop pale ale, both 6%, and the part 2 was a West Coast. I've actually enjoyed the West Coast version more.
Okay, interesting.
For almost exactly that reason, in the fact that I think you get more interesting flavours.
Yeah.
Coming through in a kind of slightly cleaner way.
Mm-hmm.
And the hazy beer just being kind of the hazy beer just tasted like orange juice.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I'm coming from as well. I feel like most of the fireized beers that I've tried so far have been from Track, I think, and I love Track beers and they were nice beers and everything, but I just feel like if they're super hazy, juicy beers to begin with, and then there's Files stuff going on as well, for most of them just tasted almost like oversaturated in a way with the flavors. It was almost like too much, and it edged into like a lot of them. I found like the flavor on it seemed to be going towards a kind of almost like really
fruit juice.
Yeah, but like when fruit juice is almost on the turn and starting to kind of ferment, it was that kind of vibe for me. It was kind of giving me that kind of like almost partially fermented like fruit
turbo cider,
grape juice. Yeah, exactly that kind of feel to it. And like I said, it wasn't to the point where it was unpleasant, but it didn't necessarily make me want to go and immediately buy more of it. So I want to see what it does. And I think that's kind of like, I guess, one of the ways that they've been trying to sort of market this is to get more out of less. So to me, it kind of makes sense to try and do it on a slightly more restrained recipe as far as the hopping rates and everything goes, and then see what the Files can add on top of that. But we'll see.
And I think maybe like having a bit more of a sort of bitter, slightly cleaner palate on it might just kind of carry through in a more interesting way.
Yeah, hopefully.
I really enjoyed both Lake Brew Co beers.
They're bangers.
The double dry hop pale, the hazy pale, was just like literally like drinking orange juice, and it was really good. And it did have some bitterness that carried it through, but I actually enjoyed the West Coast more. So if anyone's interested in trying those, then good examples of where they've used Farley's yeast and Phantasm.
It was a great beer. One thing that for my brewing is I kind of fucked up the back garden. I'll be honest. I totally fucked up the back garden. We moved the trampoline from the bottom tier of the lawn to the top tier, which means that my gazebo wouldn't fit at the side of it without being over into next door's garden. And next door's garden's like a bad day in Vietnam. I mean, the jungle in his garden's ridiculous, so I'm not going to do that. But what it does mean is that I've now got to move a trampoline before I can brew, because I intended to brew Thursday. Didn't happen. And as far as what I'm brewing, I'm going to say, because it'll annoy Tricky, but I'm brewing an IPL with Voss and Kashmir and Idaho 7. Except all the Idaho 7 that I've got is, I've actually got, how much is in one of them pouches that we got from Robbie? It's like 25 grams or something.
What, the cryo or the normal?
Cryo, yeah.
Cryo's 25 grams, and then normal T90s are 50 in their packet.
So I've got 75 grams of cryo to be able to put into this beer. And I've got just under 900 grams of Kashmir, which obviously won't all be going in, but there'll be a lot of it going in. And I'm going to bitter with Pearl with a 20-minute edition of Pearl. So, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm planning on brewing.
Making an IPA, yeah?
I'm making an IPL, yeah.
An IPA, yeah.
It's an
Hashtag
IPL.
not a lager.
It's an IPL. Okay, say what you want. I'm right. You're wrong. I will lager it. It will get lagered for about 2 weeks, and then obviously it'll be drunk because that beer always turns out fantastically well. But yeah,
That'll be good.
it's brilliant.
I haven't really brewed much at all. I think the last beer I made was the British Lager, which I brewed for the BrewCon competition. Which I was rather pleased with, actually. It came out very nicely. I ended up brewing a
If anyone's wondering what that is referencing, by the way, that comment, you have to go and watch the BrewCon video.
All right. Yeah, I brewed it with British malt, mostly hops malt. I used Bear and their pale ale malt, and then I used
Bear as in bear malt, or you put lots of malt in?
Bear malt, mate.
Bear malt, man.
As in actual bear malt.
Painting, yeah.
Yeah, loads of bear malt. And then I used First Gold hops. And then, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how it came out.
It's an underrated hop. Is first Gold. I don't care what anyone says.
I haven't used
Maybe
First
not
Gold
as
in ages, but yeah, it is good. It's good hop.
Yeah. So I used just all First Gold through the lager. And it worked out really well. Kind of sort of bitterness somewhere between Helles and Pilsner. So it's not like super bitter, but
So it's a mid-German beer.
yeah, sort of a mid-German beer, like a mid-coast German beer.
Mid-coast German.
Somewhere between the north and south.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, I do love First Gold. It's one of my favourite hops, I have to say. It's a great hop. I stumbled upon First Gold, weirdly enough. I bought it in error, and I was quite glad of that error. It was a happy accident, and I've kind of just stuck with it ever since because it gives a flavour profile that's very much bang on with what I wanted. So, yeah, I love a bit of First Gold. If you haven't brewed with it, make a bitter and bitter it with First Gold and Fuggles. It's a great beer. Very, very nice.
I think Fuggles is a good shout just to give it that slightly earthy edge.
It's just a platform.
Actually, First Gold is quite floral. It's actually quite fruity.
It's got a bit of a marmalade orange thing, hasn't it?
Thing.
It's a good shout for an English IPA, I think, as well. First Gold, like for that.
First Gold and Challenger, mate.
Yeah.
English IPA, First Gold and Challenger, beautiful beers. Yeah. I think we've all talked about what we're brewing. So shall we move on and do some? It's already in the glass, isn't it?
He's all over it.
Well, shit, I'm supposed to be doing this one as well.
Yeah, you need to.
I'm getting on
there.
I'm gonna have to get a fresh glass out, mate.
Although this is a 500ml bottle, isn't it?
I was going to try and dig out a proper Weiss beer glass and try Johnny's method with the bottle that he showed us putting in, but then I thought I'm bound to just end up wearing a load of beer and having it all over the keyboard and stuff. So
yeah, well,
I thought better of it.
I've poured mine rather vigorously.
Oh, Chris is going for it. He's going for it.
Mine come out like that. Whoops.
To be fair, considering it's in a nucleated glass, I didn't do too badly with this one.
Yeah. I'm gonna end up wearing this.
Yeah,
I fucked up here.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Uh-oh, he's in trouble.
Not really, because I know physics.
I think you're gonna get away with it, mate. Look at that, nailed it.
No, that's bob on.
You done well there, mate. So this is gonna be exciting.
Oh shit!
So we chose this one because of Johnny from Brewkeg Tap's recommendation and him drinking it on the. He drank it on the pod with us twice, I think, didn't he? But yeah, it had to be done because I don't think any of us had this beer before, had we?
No.
But anyway, Chris, you're supposed to be introing this.
Yeah, it says Weiss beer hell, which is what a light Weiss beer.
I don't know. I've never actually seen hell used on the.
Oh yeah.
We need Johnny back on again, don't we, to explain why it's got hell in there? But
that just smells creamy. It's like a creaminess to
The aroma on this is
aroma.
absolutely just like banana bread.
Banana bread. There's a lot of clove there as well,
There is, yeah.
but perfectly balanced. The banana and clover, perfectly balanced.
Oh, it's good.
Oh,
Fuck off. That's all I've got to say. Fuck off. That's amazing. Oh my good God. Right. So, Klosterbrau Andex is a monastic brewery in Upper Bavaria, Germany, and
Jesus.
it's run by the monks of the Andex Abbey. It's about 40 kilometers away from Munich, and it is the only monastic brewery in Germany that produces Bock beer year-round for nationwide and international distribution, right? This is the bit that got me. It produces 100,000 hectoliters of beer per year.
wow.
And it's a fucking monastery, right? This
Pretty
is...
Is that a
substantial.
million? Is that a million litres then? You'd add
Yeah.
2 zeros to that.
No, so it's 10 million liters.
3
If you-
zeros.
No, if you add 2 zeros to 100,000, you get 10 million, don't you?
You do.
Yeah, that's a lot of beer. And basically, it's essentially they don't take any money from any church, and they just do their thing, and they produce a shitload of beer. And I have to say, this is fantastic. The boys summed it up, okay? The clove and the banana are perfectly balanced. Perfectly balanced. There's a bubblegum edge that comes through right at the end as you exhale. The malt is absolutely spectacular, right? Spectacular. Gilles just fucking stole my thunder, the twat. I'm getting an edge of, like, I don't want to say creamed corn, but popcorn is the best way to describe it. This is, look at that color, right? Look at that color.
Yeah,
That is one hell of a beer.
Now
Bob
that
on
you've
with
said that,
popcorn.
I'm just like, yeah, like a sort of sweet popcorn banana clove.
Yeah, you just ever so slightly, like a little bit of diacetyl, just adding that tiny sort of butter note.
Mm.
That is incredible.
Oh
That is
my good lord.
absolutely bonkers.
You can
I'm
keep
not-
your Augustina. You
Normally
can keep
with
your Paulana.
Hefes, I'm like, you can keep the clove. I'd much rather have the banana esters, but like it is balanced between the two, and I love it. It's yeah, clove is not the kind of ester or phenolic profile that I'd get on with normally, but in this it's just absolutely singing. Really, really nice.
Also,
Yeah,
the Andex Brewery was founded in 1455, so they ain't fucking about. Oh my
Sorry
god,
about
that's
that.
amazing.
Sorry about the mic drop there, guys.
It's all good. I would have done the
Um,
same thing because this beer is worth a mic drop.
It is, isn't it? I mean, what a beer! I mean,
Fuck me,
Johnny's
that's
not
amazing.
wrong. That is a stunner. Absolutely out of this world. I don't even know what to say about that beer.
Nothing says mid-session interval like a fucking banger.
I mean,
banger
if
of
you
a
were going to
Hefe.
go like pick a beer to like a benchmark Hefeweizen as a style,
there.
that's it all day, isn't it? Like you know, obviously prior to trying this beer, you'd have been like, oh, Weihenstephaner is the obvious choice, but that's better.
Way better.
Much
Way
better for
better.
And I love that beer as well, but this is
Weihenstephaner is stellar compared to this.
that's
This is
like
stunning.
at the point where I'm like, okay, well, I need to order a lot of these to have them in stock for like Christmas and stuff.
I'm contemplating going to Germany and just buying 3 or 4 crates and driving back.
Their other
That
beers
is-
are good as well. Like their
Their Bock is supposedly legendary.
well, I don't think they had the Bock on Beer Merchants, but I got the I've got the
Did you get the
Dunkelweiss,
Dunkel?
which I'm really
The Dunkel 7%,
yeah.
and supposedly the absolute benchmark Dunkel.
Okay, I'm excited about that. And the Hellers I had was really, really good. I've seen some people saying that they think it's better than the Augustina. I wouldn't go that far, but it was like, you know, it's in that ballpark. But yeah, it's
Brett's just pissed beer all over his kitchen floor. That's quite funny.
Good effort.
It's gorgeous. It's so good. I wonder what the pitch rate for the yeast is for this, because I can guarantee you they are under pitching the fuck out of this beer. They're probably putting 2 teaspoons in for a 1 million litre batch.
It'll be interesting to know if they're doing that, like,
it can't be going that bad.
They're doing that ferulic acid rest and all of that other stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because
this is amazing.
What Brett said there about like it tasting like it's got the extreme end of both ends of the spectrum. For me, it would be like, okay, maybe they're doing something like that, and then they're also then fermenting it at the temperature that's going to make the banana really expressive as well. I don't know, but I mean, it's definitely the best of both worlds, isn't it?
Is anyone else on the exhale getting an orange character out of this beer, or is it just me? I don't want to say it tastes like orange, but I'm getting like almost a pithiness. There's something on the exhale.
Yeah, I think there's probably a hoppiness that is actually on there.
That
on
is
the aroma.
So good. That's such a good beer.
It's not all yeast. It's not all yeast on the aroma.
No.
I think they're probably using some sort of hop at a fairly high rate for a hef.
I'm guessing Hersbrucker and Tettnang mixed. Definitely there's a Tettnang character.
There's some spiciness in there, isn't there? Floral, spicy.
It's almost got like a Hopperweizen vibe to it.
Yeah, but with purely German hops.
Like the hop is like accentuating the whole thing.
I've just literally put that up tricky and then
I missed that one.
We haven't talked about
we'll put it up a third time just to emphasise. There we go. Brett says it's the best he's tasted.
It's heavy. The beer sits. God,
heavy.
Fuck off, Andy, you Scottish wank puffin. Fucking Blue Moon, you cunt.
It's definitely not Blue Moon.
This is
I think that's taking the piss out of your orange comment there.
No, there is something on the exhale, but you see what I mean? I want to say orange, but it's not orange. It's kind of a pithiness that's there.
That would be the sort of orange you put in.
I mean, I didn't put any in this. I put it in the warm shade, not in this. It's definitely a different glass. God, this is such a good beer, boys.
No,
this is such a good beer.
I think there is something there with the orangey something. I mean, it's
so much going on.
Yeah, it's surprisingly complex for
Tricky. Please say it. Please say it. Please say it.
I think Owen already did.
No, he didn't. You say it. You say it. Just say it. Yes, there's definitely a lot going on there.
There is a lot going on there.
Fucking hell, what a beer.
5.5%. You know, it's amazing body. Huge body.
I think my lawnmower beer's just got taken over.
It's like drinking clouds.
It's stunning. It is quite thick, though, isn't it, Owen?
Mm.
It is a thick beer.
Yeah.
Super thick.
It's hefty.
It's a chewy beer.
Think back to when you guys
still
had
really
my
drinkable as well.
Hefe.
Like, I mean, that's not hung around.
It's not hanging around.
Absolutely slapped through that.
Think back to when you guys had my session Hefe and compare that to this.
Mm.
The flavor profile from this is so much bigger than from my session Hef. This is such a truly outstanding beer. My God.
Yeah, I mean, it's chunky and it carries a little interesting bitterness to the back of the throat.
Get those scores in, fellas, on the beer evaluation.
Shit.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
And Brett and Gilles as well. I don't know if anyone else is out there drinking this beer right now, but if you are, jump on the jump on the link.
Oh. Right.
I wonder. Do you think that's a unique yeast strain that they're using? I mean, how old was that brewery? You said, Chris.
1455 was it? Yeah, 1455.
I reckon they've probably got house strain after
Maybe.
I reckon they might be. Yeah.
If they fucking don't,
600 plus years.
if they don't, there's something wrong. Okay, I've submitted for you, mate. You've got it. I've submitted it.
Yeah,
You can imagine where the scores are on that one. I've got to be honest with you, right? I am absolutely not looking forward to the Omnipollo beer after that. And that's weird, because I've been looking forward to that Omnipollo beer since I bought it.
It's a big change in pace.
It's a tough act to follow, is that one?
Well, it is. To be fair, don't you worry. I think the Omnipollo is going to be the heavyweight.
Oh, mate, that is such a I need a pee. That's a great beer.
We've just warmed up beautifully from and fair play to Tricky for organising the beers in order of ABV, because I think that was the right way to go. Because we've gone from something pretty light to something that's been a little bit heavier, but still very drinkable, to something that's been, to be fair, quite chewy.
Yeah.
But still drinkable. And then we're going to move to something that is going to be a real sipper.
Yes. I don't think we're going to rush through the final beer, are we?
Oh, man, it's going to be bonkers. It's going to be it's going to be so thick. Especially coming from that beer I've had once before.
Oh my god, I didn't realise it was 14.5%. Fuck.
Oh, is it 14.5%?
That's what it says on the bottom.
12.5%.
Well, I was going to say, I'm sure the website said it was less than that. But yeah, the bottle says 14.5. Wow.
Wish us luck, everyone.
Yeah, take your time with that one.
Wish us luck. Yeah, we're gonna have to meander through that.
Neck it.
No, we're just talking about the Noah.
I know. I've had my headphones on while I've been having a pee.
All right, you're doing that for 14.5%, don't you?
Oh, I'm aware. I'm aware.
Yeah.
Shit, the fucking bird. That Hefe has just gone straight to the top of my I must fucking buy more list.
Yeah, I mean, that is a stunner.
Jesus Christ. Johnny was not fucking around when he said you need to try this beer, was he?
Well, it's a shame it took so long to take his advice.
Oh, shit. Fuck me. I know I'm swearing a lot. I'm sorry. That beer has literally just blown my mind. I have to say, credit to our Patreons. Absolute credit to our Patreons. They have not led us astray with these breweries, have they? Not at all.
Absolutely not. I mean, and they've all kind of, they've all been good anyway, but like they're all interesting beers in their own right as well. Like it's not, it's been a nice, varied selection so far. So,
my God, I'm still thinking about that Bullhouse Suds though. That was a great beer.
The thing with this beer is, like, for me, it's Hefeweizen normally is a pretty simple, fairly, like, obviously a really good one is great and everything, but it's not usually a beer that you're gonna go, whoa, what's going on there? This one is an actual showstopper, like, Hefe.
Total. A lot of Hefes are very much you drink them and you forget about them.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Andy's shouting at us now. He's got all caps. Is it the ABV? It's not the ABV, Andy. It's not the ABV at all. You need to buy yourself a few bottles of this beer, right? You need to do it because this will change your
Andy,
perception.
you are going to have to put another order in to get some of this one. It's got to be done now.
This will change your perception of what a Hefeweizen is, right? Everybody's drunk Polana. Everybody's drunk Weihenstephaner. Everybody's had all the different Hefes. This This will change your perspective of what you will drink this, and it will ruin you for every other Hefeweizen that you've ever had. No, Hefes are normally around about 6. Hefes are quite high normally. They're not the 4% beers. No, they're normally quite high.
Yeah, no, 4% is low, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why mine was a session Hef. Oh my good lord. And it's a legit German bottle as well. Look at the fucking roller marks. I love it. I love it. So just once more for everybody who's in the chat, if you've not bought it, Cluster Andex, right? It is the Weissbier Hell. This is an absolute banger. It's a banger of a beer.
Yeah, just coming back to that ABV question, it's 5.5% seems to be a pretty standard ABV. The Paulaner is 5.5. The Schneider Weiss is 5.4. So yeah, it's not out there at all really as far as the ABV. I think what is it? The one that's you see in pubs most commonly in the UK would be oh shit, what's it called? I've forgotten the fucking name of it anyway, but that's definitely over 5% as well, isn't it?
There's a lot of them out there that are just superb.
Anyway,
but that's the de facto. Give a shit what anyone says. That is the de facto.
I'm gutted. I only ordered one bottle now. that's my overriding feeling on that one.
It's how might I ever brew something that well crafted? It's simply a case that you're never going to. That's the sad reality. Is the fact that there's been a bunch of men that have dedicated their lives
for 600 years.
600 years.
And they've passed on that knowledge for 600 years on how to make that beer. There's no way in my homebrewing career I'm even going to come close to making a beer that good.
And that is the scores that it has yielded. So, quite malty. Definitely got that sort of bready, full-on thing. Esther's coming out at 5, as you would expect, with such a pronounced kind of clove and banana bubblegum thing going on. Really high score for the body as well. Hot presence, still decent score for a Hefe at 2. No citrus or tropical, as you would expect. But the high score for the spicy herbal and floral. Very low score for earthy grassy. 9.5 overall rating.
Oof.
So
wow,
boom.
I mean, how many of us didn't score 10?
If 9.5 doesn't say it all,
yeah.
Somebody's ranked that a 9, haven't they?
9.
Oh fuck, mate! I went straight in 10. 10.
I did go 10.
What a beer! What a beer! Oh my good lord!
10
banger.
Out of 10.
Absolute banger. Anyway,
oh my good god!
It's a 10 from Brett. Brett's in there with a 10.
Can I just say, Jill, what did you rank that? I want to know what Gilles ranked that because he's drinking along with us. Come on, Gilles. What did you rate the Andex? Stick it in the chat, buddy. Come on. Oh my god,
still there.
He's probably passed
Jill,
out. That was such a good beer. That was such a good beer, man. He gave it a 9. Gave it a 9. Now we can't be friends anymore now. Oh,
right,
what
then.
a beer.
Going straight in.
Smiley face.
Yeah, Gilles like me. He's a hard man to please. Oh, there it is.
It's all right. Don't worry, Gilles. Brett says he'll give you one.
Oh my god.
I'm pleased that I've kind of left it to warm up a tiny bit. I'm still trying to finish this half.
It's not an easy drinker, is it?
No, it's not. That's probably the one bit that I might say is like it's not a beer that you can just smash.
I don't know. I
similar
nailed my one pretty easily.
Hold on, I'm gonna go AMSR.
That was all right. Can
Is
I
it
just say, Tricky, are you getting vast amounts of licorice?
Wow. I mean, that is pouring like engine oil
A
for a
little bit.
start.
I'm getting so much licorice.
More chocolate at the moment.
Just
Well, and that's just me off sniffing the bottle. Let's actually try with the beer
zero
itself.
head.
Yeah, the head retention is not not anything to write home about on this one.
What head?
Yeah, well,
What fucking
Yeah, I
head?
mean, I'm just getting dark chocolate out of the bottle for days. Just
yeah, it's all chocolate on the nose for me.
it's basically like, imagine the dirtiest, thickest dark chocolate brownie you've ever eaten. That's what
It's
it smells
dirty.
like. Because it's like except if you imagine you took and added like a really heavy bourbon whiskey to a dark chocolate brownie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
Oh, it's pure filth.
I'm just trying to. I can't
So
really
filthy.
get anything beyond the chocolate.
I'm gonna be dead after this beer.
I'm not sure.
14.5%. Just remind everyone.
It's supposed to be pecan, right?
14.5%.
No, this is bourbon barrel aged imperial stout. It is pecan. It's pecan mud pie.
Yeah, pecan mud pie.
Because I don't get.
Fuck me, that's
well, I don't
dirty.
think I get any pecan on the nose or any bourbon really.
I'm getting bourbon.
I'm bourbon.
I'm getting bourbon, but I'm not getting nuts.
I'm getting the nuts. I'm getting nuts.
Are you getting these nuts?
I'm getting your nuts.
Okay.
Oh, that's dirty.
I mean, it's nutty. It is nutty. It's a chocolate nutty stout. And
I'm still not getting the nuttiness. But now that it's been sort of breathing in the glass for a little bit, suddenly there's that alcohol. Yeah, there's that barrel character.
Bonkers. I think if anyone has had the original version, not the barrel aged version.
What is that?
Yeah, I mean it's otherworldly, this beer. If you've had the non-barrel aged version, it is chocolate mud pie. It is, but that is heavy on the bourbon barrel age. That is heavy.
I
don't know what. Does anyone
dirty.
know what the ABV is on the original version?
11.2.
11.2. I mean, that's a lot of.
That's so strange how much the aroma on that has kind of changed over the space
standard
of just
11
a minute.
Standard 11. Andy is basically our researcher at the moment, even though he's not on the pod.
He
seems
great
to be sober
work
enough
for us in the background there. Thanks, Andy, because we're not going to be capable of doing anything.
I'm going to say
sensible after this.
I'm going to say that I don't think the bourbon barrel was fucking empty when they put this beer into it.
No, I
think they left quite a lot of bourbon in there.
The bourbon is
bourbon.
Definitely there on the flavour.
I mean, to be fair, I would say the bourbon almost overrides kind of what the base beer was about.
I'm not. Yeah, pecan is the thing that's kind of lacking for me. There
it is. Yeah,
when if it's sold as a pecan mud pie beer, I'd get massive chocolate. Do get bourbon really strong on the flavour, and now that my nose has kind of calibrated itself for this beer,
I think this one's going to be rolling into the after party with me.
Yeah,
there's no way I'm drinking this one quick.
This is a sipper.
Yeah, I mean the aftertaste once you've sat there for a bit. Sorry if you heard that dog barking in the background.
Cherry, much cherry.
I mean, I think you get a lot of that very dark chocolate, super dark chocolate vibe coming through. after it's been sat there in your palate for a little while. I think the bourbon barrel aged bit is probably just a bit too much. I think it probably overrides what if you taste the original of this beer.
Oh, mate.
What do you say on the alcohol front? I mean, for me, it's obviously massively boozy, but it's not like hot alcohol. It's because it's so thick and sweet and chewy. It's like chocolate liqueur sweets.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's certainly not. It's certainly not hot.
Yeah.
Certainly not difficult to drink in any way, shape, or form.
In fact, that the cherry thing. Now that I'm thinking of it, I'm like cherry chocolate liqueur. There's a little bit of a note of that kind of thing going on there for me. Maybe.
Can I just say, there's a lot going on in this beer.
There's a hell of a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. I mean, you're getting the barrel aged element, which is probably where that cherry is coming from, in terms of the oak, in terms of
that's beautiful.
The charred oak is going to be adding sort of deep flavours as well as the malt. I'd have thought.
There's a lot of bourbon in that.
There's a lot of bourbon in it. It's a heavy bourbon flavour.
I'm getting a lot of wood as well, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
You'd consider they would age that out, but I'm getting a lot of wood. I'm also getting, weirdly, a lot of cherry and a lot of licorice.
I'm getting, like, leather-bound books.
There definitely is a smell of leather-bound books. It's the restricted section in the library.
I'm getting deep, rich mahogany.
Fuck me, that's good.
This just makes me. It's a liquidized version of sitting in front of a fireplace in a leather chair with a cigar on the go. It's like
this is a beer that requires a smoking jacket
and a massive bar of like 70% cocoa chocolate or something.
Bourneville ain't gonna cut this one.
That's the vibes I'm getting.
I have to say, this is fucking ridiculous. This beer is probably going to take me another hour and a half to drink. Yeah, that is ludicrous.
I mean, it's like pouring yourself a big glass, probably 3 fingers of bourbon, and then drinking probably the finest hot chocolate you've ever drunk.
It's rude how good this beer is. It's rude.
Yeah, I mean it's not coffee. It's pure. It's liquid chocolate.
It's making my tongue tingle.
I don't even know what to say about it.
I'm like,
I'm flummoxed.
I mean, I've been.
That's one way to describe it, Owen.
Yeah, doing a little bit of impy brewing recently, and sort of made a chocolate impy, and I'm just like, wow, that was just like fucking amateur level. Like the flavour in this. I mean, I'd love to know like where they're sourcing like the cacao or whatever they're using for this, because
they're probably getting it off of a fucking tree.
What I love about Omnipollo is the fact that everything that they add is legitimately real ingredients. They don't ever lean towards any artificial ingredients. It's all and to create a mud cake flavour is exceptional. I mean, I would argue that they are probably the brewery out there doing the most mental beers on the planet.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. That beer is thick. It's ridiculous depth of flavour. Even, you know, yeah, we've got bourbon. Yeah, we've got chocolate. Yeah, we've got cherries. I'm getting licorice. The level of flavour is absolutely ridiculous. The chocolate level on this beer, man. It's like drinking chocolate.
It's almost offensive.
It is almost offensive how good this
I'm
beer
almost
is.
sat there looking at the beer like I'm slightly offended by it. Like
It's just
it's
dirty.
thicker than
My
Beyonce's
word.
ass. You know, it's like
That
the
is
time Kim
rude.
Kardashian broke the internet. It's that thick.
I tell you, I have had some absolute bangers of stouts in my time, and I have had some truly stupendous impies. Not many, but I've had some truly stupendous impies. I think we have found two beers tonight which define the style. I think that's what we found. I genuinely believe that Andex Hefe defines what a Hefe is. And I believe that this beer defines whatever the fuck this beer is. I don't know what it is.
It wouldn't
because
be.
it's beyond an impy.
You can't. Yeah, this isn't imperial stout in the traditional sense of the style, is it? It's flavored.
It's a dirty pastry.
Wood aged pastry. Don't know what category you would want to put this in. I mean, it would have to be in the sort of fruit and spice beers, I think, because it would be so out there. Basically, anything that can't be categorized usually ends up in the fruit and spice category, and this would
that's
absolutely
ridiculous.
Smoke anything else that it was up against in that category in a competition.
Can I just say, this is a measure of how good this beer is, right? That's how much of it I've drunk. It's a third of a pint to the line, and it's a 330ml beer. I think I have had probably about 20 mils of this beer.
Right, get some scores in, fellas.
Yeah, I don't even know what to.
How do you spell ridiculous?
Not getting much on the hop.
Yeah, not much on the hops. No.
Oh, fucking hell. I mean,
I think this is just a switch between 5 and 1 on my reviews, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, basically.
Although there is a certain amount of that. No. No. I mean, can you rank this beer any lower, really, than 10? As a style definer, can you honestly rank this lower than 10?
I did,
rude.
but only because I felt like I wasn't getting the pecan that was advertised.
I don't know how warm yours is, Tricky.
I've submitted my results.
I've submitted too.
I've gone back to the Andex. Just try and clean my palate.
Good luck with that amount of banana. The banana clove bubblegum explosion that is the Andex.
Well, all of a sudden the Andex is tasting a little less flavourful.
Not quite as full-bodied.
Yeah, sort of feeling a little bit moot now.
Slightly thin beer now after all of that.
Oh, no, it's still carrying a lot of weight, that beer.
That is ludicrous how fucking full flavoured that beer is.
It's so thick. It's so thick. God. It's like drinking warm honey.
It's like drinking liquid chocolate with 3 shots of bourbon in it.
Yeah.
Right then, so scores are in. Pretty, yeah, unsurprising. Pretty heavy on the malt, and body was 5 out of 5 from everyone. No ester presence, not really much on the hop at all. A little bit of spicy herbal, earthy grassy was the only sort of hoppy notes that anyone picked up at all. And the overall rating 8.5 was actually a little bit lower than I was expecting. So yeah, I mean, I think I'd put mine in at a 9. Who's scoring this below a 9?
Me. I scored mine at a 7.
7. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's just a bit too much.
It is in your face,
I
but
think
is that a
that-
reason
What,
to
as
rank
far as
it
the
down?
bourbon character or the
I
barrel
think,
age
well,
character?
I've had Noah Mudcake, the standard version, and I enjoyed that more than the barrel aged version.
Okay. I've not tried
Um,
the original. So what's better about that? Is it because it
it's
does
just
deliver
it's
the
Doesn't burn your
it
throat.
delivers more on what it says it should be,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is the pecan mud cake thing, and it's still a silly beer, but it's not quite as incredibly ferocious as this beer is.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
probably not
if you've got that
ferocious.
That's a
context,
very good way of describing it, Owen.
You know,
It's a ferocious beer. It's a beer that doesn't like you, and it really wants to get in your face. It's happy to have a... No, close that!
Oh, sorry.
just checking out.
Fuck off!
Checking out the scores.
I forgot I had the
You
screen share
twat.
on there.
I'm lucky I didn't see the score.
It's not
It
decided yet.
is. It is one of those beers that it is definitely too much. This is a special occasion, sat in front of the TV, enjoying a great film, drink it over 2 hours. That's
I
what
think
kind of
so.
beer this is.
I think that's exactly what that beer is, and I think it probably carries the price tag fairly. With that, like, I would love this beer in front of like an open fire, maybe with a cigar.
It's a fire pit with a cigar in the late summer where it's just a little bit cool.
Talking philosophical madness, you know, that would be ideal.
It's a beer where you discuss the origins of the universe.
Yeah, I'm not going to be afraid to say that I'm a tiny bit frightened by this beer.
It's a scary beer. It's a scary beer. 14.5 is a good wine. Do you know what I mean? This is legitimately in your face. Don't get me wrong. To anybody who recommended this as a beer, we are not disappointed. We are just slightly taken aback. This is a scary. This is a very. It's full on every fucking scale you can measure. It is what this beer is.
I think comparing it to wine is not fair. I think I would happily drink and easily drink a whole glass of 14.5% red wine. But red wine is nowhere near as thick as this. And I find
It's a chewy one.
I find really high ABV beers somehow more, they get you more pissed than a glass of wine.
Definitely.
By like an
Definitely.
absolute mile. If you sat down
Definitely.
and drank this next to a glass of wine, same ABV, I guarantee you would feel twice as pissed drinking this beer than you would that wine.
It's a meal in a glass.
I don't know how that works from a
I have no idea what the mechanism is for that, but I agree.
I don't even want to go into the fucking science of it.
Technically speaking, that you've consumed the same amount of alcohol, but it's different.
It's only a 330.
I know.
It's a Coke can.
Yeah.
It's fucking rude. How have they got so much? It's a beautiful
little bottle. I love the bottle.
There's witchcraft involved in the formation of that beer. I don't even know how long. How long would it take them to brew that? It's not like a fucking quick chuck it on something and that's rude.
Do you remember watching the Craft Beer Channel episode with Omnipollo?
No.
And they were, it's worth a watch because it's a really good insight into how Omnipollo produced their stouts. And I think what they do is they do something weird where they they start to ferment it, and then at a certain point they lob loads of like sucrose.
They feed it,
Easy
don't they?
act.
They
They feed it
the
with
fermentation. Yeah.
yeah. So the yeast tends to like eat up this easy to access sugar and kind of leaves a lot of the residual sugars in there.
What's the
So that
FG on this beer, do you reckon?
so I mean the
1060.
FG
1060?
Yeah.
Yeah.
easily. I would say it's 1080, probably 1080.
I mean, Jill's back on the rolling papers to rehydrate.
Yeah, yeah. Good on you, Jill.
If I had some left, I'd be doing the same. To be fair.
Yeah, they feed.
That's
Brett
dirty.
just said they feed the yeast with malt extract, just to get it not to eat the longer chain maltose. So it remains like super thick.
That is one of those beers that you drink one of and you don't need another for quite a few months. It's an experience, is what that beer is. It is an absolute experience.
A way to describe it.
Oh man,
Beast.
Right. Well, we can wax lyrical, but what we're waxing lyrical about is not good for the audio version of this podcast. So what I'm going to say is, guys, I'm going to give you the answers to the quiz. Okay. So the common name for Y yeast 1469, with a bonus point for the famous brewery that it's allegedly from, it is West Yorkshire ale yeast, and it's from Timmy Taylor's. Okay. Now Brett Googled this, or Jeeved it, and found out that Timmy Taylor's actually borrowed their yeast from John Smith's. Allegedly.
No.
We don't know how true that is. I'm assuming that John Smith's has gone through a bajillion different iterations of that yeast before it got to the point where Timmy's took it, and then they've gone through a bajillion different iterations. So we can say they're different yeast. So point for Timmy Taylor's, point for West Yorkshire Ale. Half a point if you got John Smith's. What is a primary cleaning agent in Starsan? It is phosphoric acid. Not dodecyl benzyl sulfonic acid. And which country pioneered brewing a bag? I was taken aback by this when Owen suggested this as a question. Apparently it was Australia, which doesn't surprise me. The Aussies are very, very innovative, you know. So yeah, those are the three answers to your question: West Yorkshire Ale, Timmy Taylor's, phosphoric acid, and Australia. If you've got all four, well done. If you've got three, well done. If you've got one like Simon, nah. So yeah, I think we have had some truly mind-blowing beers today, gentlemen. What do you reckon?
Can't really be upset with any of those offerings, to be fair.
Bullhouse is getting an order from me. As a session beer, Bullhouse beers are legit. Very, very legit. Tricky, the next thing on the itinerary, do you want to do it? The bit that's in bold?
Yes, so we have the podcast with Elusive coming up on the 8th of November, and you can purchase a tasting pack to do a taste along. I'm guessing we probably won't do the live scoring and whatever with that one. It might be a little bit awkward if you've got the brewer on the pod with us. People are throwing in the 3 out of 10s on any of those beers, but I'm sure they won't be. Elusive are a great brewery. But yeah, get on the link, which is posted on our Facebook group or page, and we'll put that up or repost that again and in the chat shortly. Get over there, buy the tasting pack, join us for the pod. Andy Parker is going to be with us. He's going to go through a recipe that is also going to be released as a all-grain recipe kit on the Malt Miller, so you'll be able to buy a recipe that we break down on the podcast as well. That is one of the beers that's in the tasting pack too, so you can try before you buy on that front. And it should be really good. So it's going to be, really good podcast. Andy's going to be on there telling us all about Elusive, all about his method for making those sorts of beers. We're going to get really doing a real deep dive into that one particular beer, but also talking through all the other beers that are in the tasting pack. Well, not all of them, because there's 8 beers. We're not going to drink all of those on the pod, I hope.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
Good luck.
But I guess we'll probably pick maybe 4 based on how tonight's gone, and see what Andy can tell us about those particular beers, and give us some of his sort of tips and advice. Personally looking forward to picking his brains a bit on his West Coast kind of brewing strategies and techniques. Don't know what you guys are thinking about that podcast. What you looking forward to?
Andy Parker, known as the nicest man in home brewing, he's come from a strong home brewing background, having home brewed, won a lot of competitions, moved into professional brewing. Fantastic guy. I've met him on a few occasions. I'm sure we all have. And he has curated a box of beers specifically for this podcast, and included a few autumnal Halloween-esque beers in there as well, which is going to be super exciting. And I think he is probably one of the most exciting upcoming breweries over the last few years, producing some amazing West Coast beers. He's a massive fan of black IPAs, which I'm sure everyone should be, because it's an amazing style of beer. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun chatting to him. It's going to be a really great podcast, I think.
And if anyone has any questions that they'd like us to pose to Andy, send us a message or drop it on one of the links that we've posted in the Facebook group or on the Patreon chat. If you're on Discord.
We'll have our social media manager start a thread on that. Andy, get on it.
Good shout.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you've enjoyed this drink along. I hope that none of you have necked the Omnipollo beer, because if you have, you're going to be dead right about now.
I've drunk too much of mine already. I need to go and have a little lie down.
I'm there. I've literally had about 70 ml of this beer. Oh my good lord. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to call this one in the bag. I want to get onto the after party.
Me too.
Guys, episode 79 is in the bag. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to our sponsors, the Malt Miller, where you can buy the kit that we're getting from Andy at Elusive Brewing when it comes up. Thank you to all of our Patreons. You guys are absolutely amazing. And thanks to everybody who's actually done the drink along. We've really enjoyed this. I don't know about you guys, but I've had some truly spectacular beers. I don't think we've not had a bad one, weirdly enough. And to be fair, the one which was ranked the lowest was Warm Shade, which incidentally is one of my favourite pales, which just goes to show the quality and the caliber of the beers that we've had. So thanks for joining us. Episode 79 is in the bag. I'm going to post a link right now in the chat to the after party. Join us on there, boys. I will stick it into Discord as well if you are a Discord user. And I think we can safely say thanks very much. Guys, say goodbye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
We will catch you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.